Hey there, folks. Welcome to Spectrum Pulse. We talk about music, movies, art, and culture. And yeah, this is going to be a little bit scattered. I get the feeling that's going to be the case for the next couple of weeks, even with the massive release slate that's coming up really soon. But before we get into that, let's get on the pulse. So before we go any further, if you would like to like and subscribe, I would be extremely grateful. Again, these sort of episodes are not getting shared out all that much. It's kind of tough to balance between whether these do well versus the shorts. It's almost like kind of up in the air. But hey, if you guys want to share this around, I'm all the more appreciative of it. But now to the matter at hand. We've got 8 projects on the docket. Let's start off with, from Manchester Orchestra, The Valley of Vision. One of the biggest surprises for me in 2021 was Manchester Orchestra bringing some emotive and genuinely terrific indie rock with The Million Masks of God. So with this new EP is a more stripped down, possibly more optimistic coda, well, there's even less jagged rock sizzle, more focus on muffled percussion, haunted atmospherics, and hushed pianos, where every moment that Andy Hull rips forth a layered Mumford-esque vocal harmony, they will shine all the brighter. And there's a couple nifty melodic reprises, and the introspective arc of trying to find healing in the wake of painful but expected loss and the family for whom he's doing it all for. It's abstract, but genuinely pretty poetic. But also considering the blocky mixing lacks a certain amount of polish, it does feel like they may have hit a limit with this style. It's very low-key, not essential listening without some of those bigger swings, but if you liked that last album, you'll probably like this. It's good stuff. From model Actriz, Dogsbody. Man, it's nice when a debut hyped at a Bandcamp is exactly as great as everyone says. Hence, Dogsbody, which has the percussive, sweaty, industrial swagger of early Liars, the demented no-wave of early Swans, and the melodramatic, emotive vocals of Xiu Xiu's Jamie Stewart. The influences definitely hang over this thick, but for a debut album, and this sort of unbelievably horny and very gay dance floor vamping, I'm not complaining. And it's so viscerally tactile from the lyrics to the coursing grooves and the production that it feels contemporary, winding through a night of New York City gay nightclubs, blurring pain, ecstasy, and angst, especially in that final hookup where the sun at dawn will sting your eyes as you stumble home with newfound truth. It can feel shade one note at points, and the momentum does sputter at the end, but it's a terrific statement of purpose breaking through. Excellent stuff. Check this out. From Xiu Xiu, Ignore Grief. I'm not surprised that Xiu Xiu followed up one of their most accessible albums, Oh No, with one of their most challenging. A blur of clanking, post-industrial ambience, and cacophonous, contorted, neoclassical nightmare fuel, where the vocals are barely heard, and if you look them up, the gruesome narratives within make you kind of wish you didn't. Forget song structure, forget hooks, forget coherent melody. This is about forcing you to confront the ghastly horrors in plain sight that you've ignored, and then organize the unkempt, mind-breaking trauma. Less intended for catharsis, more an attempt at understanding, if you even can. And while it is effective, fans of experimental acts like Coil, they're gonna love this. The replay value feels a bit limited, a deliberate choice to shun catharsis and structure and neglect any melodic strengths. That's only gonna get you so far. It's haunted, grisly, uncomfortably real. Check it out. Just not among my favorites. From Meet Me at the Altar, Past, Present, Future. Look, if I want the 2020s pop-punk revival to have legs, why not review an act debuting on Fueled by Ramen, produced by scene veteran John Fields with credible backing in the writer's room, a trio who could be new faces of the scene while pulling heavily from Paramore and Avril Lavigne's bratty swagger. Well, there's some promise, the grooves are decent, there's a couple solid hooks, and while the production is over-polished with really underweight drum pickups for my taste, you drop this band into the mid-2000s, they make all the sense in the world. But that's the problem. This is 2023. They don't even sound that contemporary to the pop-punk revival right now. And when the lyrics are a lot of self-conscious, underwritten melodrama, I struggle to hear what makes them all that distinct from the forgotten acts 20 years ago. I mean, nostalgia and a couple good songs gives this a pass from me, but you've heard this all before. Take it or leave it. From Twice, Ready to Be. So this is long overdue. I've been talking about how much I like Twice for a while now, but I've never done a proper deep dive or reviewed a project. So to sum it up, I actually find their Japanese releases surprisingly uneven in production compared to the K-pop. Eyes Wide Open, Taste of Love, Formula of Love, they're all legit great. So with this new EP, I wouldn't say it reaches the heights of Twice's best, but for 6 songs of slick, groovy, genre-bending but harmony-rich K-pop, it's really solid. I don't love some of the swerves towards blockier, late 2010s trap pop, but bringing in more forceful guitar textures for Got the Thrills, Crazy Stupid Love, and especially the swaggering Blame It On Me, it reminds me a lot of when Little Mix used to bring in more muscle. That's a compliment. Now sure, when translated, the lyrics are kinda shallow, but they're effective. This is a good taster EP, leaves me intrigued for more. It's worth checking out. From Slowthai, Ugly. What frustrates me so much about Slowthai is that he has intensity and emotive content, scrabbling for some form of hope to fill the void within against his own self-destructive, encouraged vices and a society running on dismissive cruelty. And with a more organic dance punk sound recruiting both Shy Girl and Fontaine's DC, there's some experimentation, even if the sonic mashup feels very beholden to Turn of the Millennium rap rock. But then he'll go into this self-serious or self-serving nihilism, which feels like a weak payoff to limited, despondent introspection, backed up by a sardonic, clenched smile he doesn't even seem to buy, amplified by sour production full of a lot of dated, filmy alt-rock with underpowered grooves that have none of the old fire, not helped by some painfully weak singing. Look, I get confessional angst, I wanted to like this, but the weirdly flattened rawness in the execution didn't translate. Call it hit and miss. At best. From Miley Cyrus, Endless Summer Vacation. Look, I know we're at the point of the Miley release cycle where we're gonna get the cynical but will sell on name alone album that's gonna take no chances, and boy has it worked now that she's on Columbia. I know that this is the breakup / recovery album instead of the far better Plastic Hearts, even if Years of Distance leaves the thematic arc feeling weirdly detached. Or hell, maybe it's just Miley sounding checked out across the majority of this thing, or the writing flitting between shallow and weirdly awkward. Or maybe it's how the listless, existential emptiness feels palpable, because she got some well-produced but kinda watery, off-key vaporwave synth knockoffs, and the compositions have this weird sourness where Endless feels more like a threat. It might be Miley at her most chill, but it's also by far her most forgettable. I think that might be more damning. I mean, it's not trying hard enough to be her worst album, but it might be her most disappointing. From 100 gecs, 10,000 gecs. Okay, it's obvious why I shouldn't like this duo. The blown-out bro step, all the chipmunk vocals, the demented, genre-eating Gen Z irony, and 1,000 gecs is uneven as hell, even if the best hooks are fucking undeniable. But 4 years later, this feels like a lateral move. For one, it's a deliberate late 90s ironic throwback, swapping out a lot of the hyperpop for crunchy nu metal, pop rock, early Beck and Red Hot Chili Peppers, and even ska, with a major label budget that goes to Josh Freese hammering on the drums, piss take sampling, and some understated social commentary on how Hollywood will commodify Laura Less's trans narrative while missing the poignancy of her claiming her own voice. There's less chipmunking, that's a big plus for me. That being said, the melodic hooks don't quite have that same magic. It's an ironic, dumb fun in rock that I have heard before. It's more consistent, but it feels a bit less special. I'd still call it quite good, just maybe more at a distance. But yeah, once again, thank you all so very much for watching. If you'd like to like and subscribe again, I would be extremely grateful. Channel's been kind of stagnant for a little bit. I've got some bigger projects in the wings that are coming, but again, growth here is always appreciated. Beyond that though, anything else I might be able to do to improve my presentation, I'm all ears. And if you guys want to get involved in, let's say, adding albums to my schedule, just supporting the channel, or hell, arguing with me more directly on my Discord, link to my Patreon is right over there. Once again, don't feel obligated. Tough times, I'll be fine. But if you want to get involved, the option is available. Or hell, just my merch down there. Have fun. But until next time, I'm Mark. You're watching On the Pulse on Spectrum Pulse. And I'll see you next time.